Uh, well, I think just disappointed. We didn't want to be in this position, and obviously we've had a few days, after the Chicago loss, and then knowing before the Columbus game that we weren't going to be playing in the playoffs. It's disappointing, and everything that happened yesterday, nobody feels good. I think we all feel responsible, and it's not a great feeling.
So I think when a team ends disappointing like that, everyone knows there's probably going to be changes, and they started yesterday. What, from your standpoint, as a longtime player and the team captain, what are your hopes for this off season and what you're going to come back to?
I just hope that we learn from this. I think that's the biggest thing is, regardless of the situation, whether you win or, you lose in first round, second round, whatever, you've got to learn from it. And I think that's something that we'll have a lot of time to dissect it and learn from it. But, hopefully we're a motivated group because of, going through this.
Would you expect the group to be anything similar to what it is, or lots of changes, or do you have any ideas?
I have no idea, to be honest.
Or hopes?
I think that, like you said, when you lose, I think there's always going to be change, and but I think, there has been a lot of turnover the last few years, so I think that it's hard to predict, but we lost in the first round in those years prior, so given what's happened this year, I would expect there to be more turnover again, and to what extent, I don't know.
So you mentioned the lessons to learn. What do you take? How do you learn from this year? What are the lessons that are to be learned from this season, and where you want to improve for next year as a group?
Well, I think just in general how difficult it is to make the playoffs. I mean, I think you find out just when you start going through specific games over the course of the year that you let slide, and you see how close we were. It's tough. It's a fine line, and I think you understand that from having to compete and get there every year, but when you're on the outside looking in, and you have to look at all those situations, I think you realize even more. So I think just understanding what the mistakes that we made this year, the big ones, I think, were just not putting teams away. We had leads, and I think that's probably what makes it more frustrating, knowing that we were in really good positions to win games and we didn't close teams out, and it ends up being the difference between us making the playoffs and not.
So we had a chance to talk to Dave Beeston and Kevin Acklin after the news yesterday, and they talked about how important it is to them to make sure that you never play for another NHL team in your career. Just how important is that to you as well, to make sure that you always stay a Penguin?
Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, that's been the case since day one, and I feel really fortunate to have been drafted here and had great memories, and got to play with two teammates specifically for a really long time. So I'd love that to be the case.
Thanks,
So,
Thank you, sir.
so you've been on some rosters that have obviously won Stanley Cups. How close do you feel this team is to being at that level?
It's hard to say. I mean, that's something you earn, and you go through things during the year, and but it's easy to sit here and say it on the outside and looking in, but we didn't earn it. So I don't think we're far by any means, but we didn't find a way to get in there, and it's tough because there's not a lot of separation. I mean, Boston's had an incredible year, and that's pretty rare to see what they're doing, but for the most part after that, all the teams are pretty close. So it's a matter of getting in there and then seeing what happens, and just not to be able to get in there, that's tough. But yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, that's something that you have to earn the right to kind of be in that conversation, and unfortunately we didn't do that.